Yeah, because Friday, it was Friday the 13th. Okay. So, today is June 14th, 2018. I am actually exercising because it is my rest day. So, try to get it in. I try to revitalize myself, and I understand when I go into different climates and things like that, I have to. Otherwise, I'll be very agitated, very bloated, and I cannot protect myself from, what's coming along. I just can't be of service to anyone. I don't really, like I said, I try to talk like that it won't confuse people, but I have to go and exercise. I have to, because I have to take care of myself emotionally and spiritually and physically. Because if I don't, it will linger on to where when I'm in a service of helping people, I cannot do it. Okay. So, yeah, that's what it is. So I'm out here exercising, but I wanted to talk about things that are going on, not only with me, that I've noticed, but in the world. Okay. We just had, it's been like a global, I guess, crisis around the world. Everyone's trying to get rid of the dollar system. Everyone, they want to have this unitary, like, one thought process government thing. And they had this on the news, and they were talking about how they were going to get rid of, the UK was going to get rid of their money system, and how they're transpiring. They're trying to do a one look and a one, and the United States was all over there. Well, the president was over there, and crazy stuff. So, and they act like it was just a huge change, like this big change was just coming out and it's just forming, and it sounds like it's really good. But in the background, if you listen to some of the citizens that, because I'm in the UK a lot, if you listen to a lot of their citizens, or in the US or the UK or in other countries like in Dubai, because I spent most of my time in Dubai, you will notice that the citizens, they're like saying other things, like this was not something that just popped up. This is nothing that as the media is saying, that just came to formulation, like, or it wasn't just into formulation in the last couple of years. This was something that was already planned, and they're not in agreement to it. Even though the media, people that are speaking, the spokespeople that are speaking, saying that it's a good thing, a lot of the citizens are not agreeing with it, and they're saying, the spokespeople that you see on TV, they're like, oh, this is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth. And the citizens are saying, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. This is what's really going behind the scenes. This is what really, and I say this, and I know this for sure because, I was about to work for a large company that deals with news. I say this because when I first started telling people, some of this stuff is not true. It's not all factual. And you can never have, the news is not going to be always 100% correct, because it's only one version of somebody's story. But it's a level of integrity that you're supposed to keep to make sure that the story that you produce is not biased. But how the companies are set up and how they have these connections with other people, they are tainted, because they're trying to keep these relationships with people who taint the news to, or twist it to benefit them, financially. And not only financially, the reason it's helping them financially, because it's manipulating you mentally and spiritually. If you're thinking that everyone is out to get you, or people are attacking you, and like they're talking about racism does exist, okay? I'm not going to say it does not. However, if someone is constantly saying this is happening around the world, then guess what? You're going to get into a state of fear, and you're going to have that fear concept that I need to cover myself. I need to cover I need to constantly cover my kids because I don't know what's going on, And then the other people who are on the other spectrum, the people who feel like they're being attacked, and the people, well, both of them are going to feel like they're attacked, whether the racist or the victim, The people who are considered racist, they're going to feel like, well, I got to cover myself because they're going to be on the attack now, So we're all in this whole fear concept, and it's like, as they're doing as everybody's in fear or the spirit of violence, like I said, they'll say it's a lot of gangs going around. Everyone's, well, I gotta lock my doors, all these gang people. Wait a minute, most of the people who, when they do crime and stuff, for the most part, is in your neighborhood. I don't give a care if you're rich, poor, white, black, orange, purple, Hispanic, Muslim, Buddhist, Christian, whatever. Every single crime, for the most part, is done by people who you usually know or in the neighborhood. Why? Because they got to navigate. They got to navigate through it. No one is going to come and just rob you if they haven't surveillance the area or anything like that. But people don't think like that. They just go. You get in this fear concept because the first thing is to protect, self-preservation. So you get in this whole fear concept. And then on top of that, when that happens, because this happened like 30-something years ago, especially in the U.S., they had the whole, war on drugs, and they ended up pushing a lot of stuff, like the pharmaceuticals. They're pushing a lot of drugs in just for that, So, everyone gets in this whole fear construct, right? They get in this whole fear, and while they're getting in fear, because you can't think straight, because you're in fear, you're in a lower vibration, you are thinking about what's at hand. Self-preservation, that's a limitation. You're not thinking of in abundance. When you're in abundance, you're at rest for the most time, or you're flowing. When you're in constant abundance, you're in flowing. When you're in fear, you're limited, you're stagnant, so you're not able to look at the whole bigger picture. And then while somebody's doing, the whole fear thing, they come up with a whole nother thing to put you in bondage that you don't know what's going on. And I say that to say this, okay? The real truth is always hidden. You have to understand, if there's a war on drugs and this thing and it's been going on, why are they giving it to you now? Why are they producing this show to you now when they knew? And they're getting facts. They said, well, we had positive evidence 10 years ago that this was happening, and this person is a whistleblower. You have to ask yourself, why are they giving you this information now as opposed to 10 years when they first had it and it was first brought to light and they knew it was 100% true? And it's usually because of some self-motive, some selfish motive that they're trying to do. Put you in a fear construct so they can push something else on you, okay? Because when you do, in order to manipulate people, or in order to have control over them, you have to constantly manipulate them. You have to constantly, and not only that, you have to constantly put them in fear. Because if you feel like, okay, somebody fires you from a job, you got to think about this just like a job, okay? If someone comes to you and you have $1 million in the bank, but you're working at a factory job and you're still working, but you've already collected $1 million, your bills are paid off, everything. If all of a sudden the boss comes in and fires you because he says he doesn't like you, what are you going to say? I don't care anyway. I'm already stacked up. I don't have to worry about that. But, however, think of it this way. Because that's not most people. That's not most people in the world today. We kind of spin. However, if you are a person who's working a factory job, usually you're not a saver. Not saying you're not a saver. usually you don't have $1 million in the bank, because there are a lot of people in factories that save, and they are working hard people. However, and if you do have $1 million in the bank, it's usually towards something already. It already has a destiny. It already has it already has a means. It's already been mentally spent. You already know what you're putting away for, savings, retirement, or something like that. Okay, but most people haven't done that. You go to work to go and save the money to get what you want. So if you don't have that money or the money to fund yourself, and your boss comes in and says, I need to I'm going to fire you, because I don't like you. You're going to be upset. You're going to be depressed. You're going to try to make amends. Like, how is this even possible? No, I need my job. You're going to do whatever you can, and you're going to get back a job, because that's your means of survival. That's your means of living, So, that's the fear construct, I had to go through that myself. I had to go through a lot of things and let go of a lot of baggage, because I found out later, when you get out of that fear construct, you find out that it's a lot of baggage, and these things are going to happen to you anyway. So, it took me a lot. It took me a lot to get up out of it. But this is what I'm saying. The truth is always hidden. So their manipulation, that kind of thing, just remember, like, everything you see on television is not true. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at this kid with the whole soccer thing and it keeps waving. But anywho, so the reason why I brought this topic up is because of what I saw in the news. Not only that, what I saw on the globe, because that was on the global news, because I'm in Dubai right now, but that was like on global news. And then after that, what else happened? Oh yeah, I went to this seminar. And this guy starts talking about how he got out of the whole fear concept, and how he ended up living a prosperous life after getting out of the bondage that was placed on him, and how he started talking about his whole life. It made me think about my own, like how I couldn't get a job anywhere. Like, it didn't matter what kind of degrees, certifications I had. It was people going against, I was going for it and I couldn't get it. So I was like, okay, what's going on? And I found out later, like years later, like, this is some spiritual bondage. I had people that was just really, really out to get me. And I used to think, like, no, that didn't happen. But I see now, and I recognize that is exactly what's happening, because when I got away from it, when I got away from the individuals, when I got away from the situations, things started becoming better, but everything, like, people see me now and they say, oh yeah, you have your own business, oh, you have this, oh, you're able to travel and do this. Well, that's because all the work that I did, which it included finding myself and not being subjected to other people's low standards of me. They're going to be people who just really just hate you. Why? Because they hate their freaking selves. But what was hidden underneath, and that brings you into a fear construct too, because those people who are hating you, some of them are over jobs, some of them are over businesses, and they needed help, but they didn't want to get it from me, because usually from the color of my skin, because just a lot of evilness that was going around. But it didn't stop me. I really did. I was meditating. I was like, God, what is this? What is the inner lining? What is the real meaning behind this? Because when you go through situations like this, and I'm telling you, I have went through a lot of different constructs. People will try to put you in bondage, physically and spiritually, and I've had that, but I had to go and always dig underneath and find the underlying meaning, and like, take it at the root. Like, what is this? Take it by the root and say, what is this going on? Why can't I do this when I've done, and work on it. When you find what it is, okay, I see the problem, I'm going to root it up. Every last one of it, I'm going to uproot it. I'm going to uproot it, you know? And that's what I did. I'm still uprooting now, you know. That was because it's so much, you know. But I say that to say, I'm explaining all that to say this, is that everything that you see is not always all it is to be. So don't sit there and let someone else dictate your life or your view or your viewpoint, because your viewpoint matters. If you believe that there's something higher out there for you to obtain, or a better way of life, or a better way of freedom, then guess what? You will receive it. It will automatically come to you and receive it, because that is what's for you. That is what God has put for you, you know? And don't make it so technical, because God made everything in simplicity. He made everything in simplicity. When it gets complicated, that's how you know it's usually a lie. But it took, like I said, it took me a minute to find out that the truth, because the truth is simple. And when you see it, it's clear. And, you know, you're not going to doubt it. You're not going to doubt it. So it has to be clothed with craziness, with sugar, with something that sounds good, you know. And that's what we're getting. That's what we're getting in our media. That's what we're getting sometimes in these situations that are happening now. So, yeah, I worked on myself back to it. I want to tell a little bit more about what I did, because I really did. I had to work on myself like every single day. I started noticing with my prayer life, I had to increase it. In order to get to the next level, your prayer life has to be very, very concrete, and you have to you'll start understanding that. You'll get to that. Another thing, what else happened? Another thing, when I started working on myself, I started seeing the validation I was trying to get, and the validation that people would see that I'm trying to get validated for something, and they would see me doing the work, and they wouldn't give me the right accolades. Like, so you have to understand, like, it's not gonna come with the accolades. The ones that you really need, that you really like, really need, is going to come from God within, and you're going to feel it within yourself, because God is going to be, if God is in you, because God is not in everyone. But yeah, I mean, they wouldn't give me the accolades. I would be working my butt off. Nothing, okay? Don't worry about that. Work on yourself. You're going to start seeing that you don't need the validation of others to go and say who you are, you know. And a lot of people got mad at me when I got on the stage and I was on TED Speak, and people were like, how dare you even say, you know, that you don't need this, and what do we have schools for? Well, schools are good. You know, you learn other cultures. Some people learn, you know, they say it's a culture shock. It was never a culture shock to me, because people of all different ethnicities lived in my area. So you could tell that I didn't live in high class America. Why? Because, well, let's say high class America. With money, with extra money, because that's not where you see, you know, a lot of diversity. You don't see that. The higher you go in money, the less you see in diversity. So that's a whole nother lesson. People and they'll come with this fallacy, like, yeah, everyone has this dream. Everyone, no. So it made me start looking at that, and to change my perspective on who is really successful, because I never thought it was with money anyway. But even more, who I thought was successful, and who I thought was not, and who I thought was on their way to being successful. You know, successfulness is a process, just like anything else, okay? Success depends on, oh my God, success, my tongue tied. Success depends on who you are, what goal you're trying to obtain, and how the satisfaction it was for you to obtain it. Okay? I know that sounds crazy, but it really does. It depends on the person who who has this goal and how they attain it and how their viewpoint of how they attain it is. Because what I think of success is different from what you think of success is. If it wasn't, then everybody would be going for the same goal. Just like they try to say, we're going for the American dream. I never believed in a American dream. And why would I want something that everyone else has? No, I just want peace, and I want to be free and be liberated to do what I'm designed to do on this planet we call Earth until it's time for me to leave this vessel right now. So that's what I really want to do. I don't, so yeah, like I said, it becomes success is determined by what someone else, by what someone else's, what their view is, the person who issued the goal, how they applied it and made the goal, and how they feel about it. Oh, they tell me rotate my device. I'm not rotating it. So, yeah, that's what it is. The truth is always hidden. The truth is always hidden, okay? If you don't believe me, look in the history books. Look at the U.S. Documents about the Tuskegee experiment with the people with syphilis. And they told these people that they were going to help them. And they were going to give them all this, all the best health care ever. Which the best health care is nutrition. The best health care is, but anyhow, so they believed them because, people believe, and it's not that they were ignorant or anything. Not that they were ignorant. They were ignorant because they didn't know what was going on. But it wasn't like they were stupid or anything like that. It was just people were using their power because it was a means of control, another manipulation tactic, and they believed that they were going to get what they said they were going to do. And instead of them giving them medication, they gave them all these things called vaccines. And come to find out, these vaccines were laced with what? Syphilis. So these people had all these injuries, all black, all had all these injuries. They all got sick. They all had, lost vision, because that's what syphilis does. It's a, disease, and it's giving you all these other chemicals and all this other crazy stuff. And later on, they get prosecuted, but guess what? They don't get too far. But the whole hidden meaning, you see what I'm saying? It has a hidden meaning. The truth always has a hidden meaning. They came for health. They wanted health, and they gave over their power and their will when they already had health to get more, and they ended up with less. The whole agenda was to what? Inject them with this whole disease, which they knew would cause all of these problems and everything else. So just remember that. Just remember that when you're dealing with that, and that is a lower vibration. That really is a lower vibration. So yeah, keep definitely in mind with that. I don't want to stay on here too long because I need to definitely exercise and get my mind right. But I definitely had to say that because sometimes, and you'll see it a lot in America, you'll see it. These people will be raising all this money, and they'll be like, yeah, let's raise it for this cause. And you're raising this money, and people are going out because they really have a heart to do right. And then you see that most of the people who are the bosses, they're getting their pockets filled, while the whole organization wasn't even designed for that. It was just to manipulate the masses to get what they want, while they're doing something that is totally contrary to their beliefs. And I'm not saying that all of them do that. I'm not saying that all media is not accurate or fake. I'm not saying all that. I'm definitely not saying that, because there are some people who are telling the truth, okay? But it is up to you to find out. Even with me, you go look me up. It is up to you to find out. You don't take nobody by their word. That's what I was taught. You take them by their actions, how they act, okay? Because actions don't lie, okay? People will lie. People will say words, and they will lie with their words, but their actions speak so much louder than words, okay? So Yeah, do that. But I would tell you, everything that is the truth, when you find the truth, it's always hidden. Because when you are in truth and you understand truth, no one can go and twist things up to you. It's harder to manipulate you when you are living in truth. When you are living in divine truth. Okay? So, and like I said, don't just take my word for it. Look it up yourself. And you'll find out. Even, okay, it's just like somebody that you know that's a robber. Somebody that is a freaking robber. And you know that they're a robber. But they see all your goods. You got all these goods and they're just having their eyes on it. Guess what? You're going to be prepared for that robber when he come in and he's saying, hitting all these words. Well, this show is nice. Well, what time do you leave from work? What time do you're going to be prepared. You're going to ask why. And not only that, you're going to have people to look out if you're smart. You know, why? Because you know the truth. You know who this person is. But if you don't know who they are and you're like, okay, and you're just going to talk to them like a normal person. You're not going to be on 10 to try to find out, you're not even going to be looking that way. Unless somebody has already put a fear construct in you and saying that this person is so-and-so, then you're going to be on the lookout. But, yeah. Hopefully something I said or done will help you on your journey. Stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem, and thank you so much.